What is going on, ladies and gentlemen? Welcome back to the channel. Max Syntax here. Let's get 15 likes in this video. But without further ado, let's just cut straight to the topic. So the title is not cope, it is in fact what I actually may be wondering about, and that is, do we need LeetCode? Is DSA becoming virtually obsolete? Well, we'll actually get into that this video. The reason for this is because the more and more that you actually learn to build projects, the less that you actually use DSA. However, it's obviously not going to be completely gone, but I'll tell you what I mean. If we glance over at my screen here, there are things simply just more valuable to your actual coding resume than just having LeetCode. LeetCode is problem solving, and honestly, that is wonderful if you can problem solve. Like that is great. And recently there actually has been a wave of more realistic problems to actually solve. However, things like writing your own tests will actually prove to be more valuable. You can ask around any sort of senior dev or anyone who's gotten hired, and they'll tell you that the first tasks you're actually going to be writing for any company are just going to be tests. Because listen, at the end of the day, you're working for someone else's company, you are essentially a slave just with pay, and you are going to be writing stuff that is for their own benefit. And why not just do tests? If a company doesn't have anything for you to write, you're just gonna write some tests. So for example, this is just one of my logging pieces of software. I'm learning Golang as we speak, and I probably will make a video about like learning more than one language because I think it is actually very necessary. But if we go around and look, I wrote a test here, and all you have to do, fortunately, with this wonderful piece of software called Go, you just go to monitor, and we just do go test, and it should pass. Okay, it turned out it actually failed. So we wanted the log to contain this. And what's the difference? Oh, because it's not the same date anymore. So my test actually failed for a valid reason. So if we go to time, this to actually be something, but the want should change. It should be fmt.s_printf. And we're literally just gonna do this, but instead of this, we're going to do %s, and then it'll just be time dot now dot format 1/2/2006. I low-key do not remember why it works like that. The now, boom. So writing a test here is pretty much, it's a very good thing to have because right there that displayed a bunch of coding logic. It's very useful to you. Now let's move on more to DSA. What's funny is like I just asked Google for the hell of it, is DSA useless? And if you notice, the AI response will tell you, no, data structures and algorithms, DSA, are not actually useless. While some may argue the relevance in the industry, DSA is crucial for building robust. Bro, I hate the word robust. The word robust is stupid. AI has an addiction to the word robust. You go on Twitter, you find some AI slop. Oh, this new robust framework came out. Shut up. But what's funny is we venture over to Reddit, and the top response is, DSA is mostly useless. Especially useless for DevOps. But it's not to say that it's not useless though, because like this guy said right here 2 years ago, so this is obviously not a new topic, being familiar with data structures and algorithms will make you a more well-rounded technical professional in general and a better programmer in particular. It's because one thing I do remember about learning DSA for sure is that you understand what's going on with a computer. You understand like there are more advanced concepts out there that actually use the language in a certain way, and there's structure to it. These algorithms are well thought out, and they kind of make you maybe write some more efficient code for yourself if you need it. But like he said, it's not going to make your project perfect. And I actually ran into a little conundrum revolving this topic. I wanted to make an amazing project to show off my algorithmic potential, my ability to solve problems. So I was like, all right, maybe I erase some algorithms. I just do some sort of like maybe Dijkstra's algorithm or A-star algorithm, like displaying with like you click here and then there's a bunch of obstacles and it goes around. I'm sure you've seen the project, or maybe like some ray casting with algorithms, but it's kind of tough to really think of anything extraordinarily focused on DSA. You can think of a chess engine, but the reality of the matter is that almost every single piece of software out there, including big companies like Spotify, Netflix, all the big ones, Gayman, all those companies, they end up kind of just being your typical CRUD actions. And you got to pull the data, you got to do something with the data, maybe get some stats in the data and delete the data. It's not the most intricate thing on earth. And another thing I think we should not brush over is that companies are going to actually let you get interviewed first because of your projects, but the DSA might come second. So I'd say to generalize, you should actually just learn DSA when you are getting a job. But to practice it in your free time before you even get a job is simply stupid. It will contribute nothing to your actual coding value. And I say this because I actually had a little LeetCode arc. Actually, on my YouTube channel a few months ago, I was like, yo, let's show you LeetCoding. And that was me. I was on a grind. I wanted to become a lead coder. Then I'm like, wait, I don't really feel anything special about this right now. It's not doing anything for me. Maybe someday in the future it will. I had a way more of a fun time building my own file sharing server and building my own custom soundboard. That was so much more fun to me. But the next step in my evolution is going to be probably getting an open source job somewhere that, I don't know, it'll happen. All right, I'm gonna put my heart towards it. And it would probably be inevitable that I run into some DSA problems there. But otherwise, where the fuck am I gonna use this stuff? You gotta tell me, because I don't know. I actually haven't contributed to this in a fat minute, but if we go through, this is something right here that not AI, I'm so used to saying that, that's a buzzword. There's some things here that you simply just cannot learn by strictly DSA. I mean, sure, the algorithmic part of it, when we go over to our good old, where is it? When we go over to our effects, there are some like this, I had to use AI for this because I didn't study it, but this isn't necessarily DSA. Like this is just math. Like the algorithms, like a sort would be a little bit different. Like you're only going through and enumerating stuff, but most of this is just math here like we've seen. And at the end of the day, this is already so well documented that you're probably just gonna be using this from an open book somewhere. So getting it from AI, I would argue, is not the worst, but you should probably be wary of what you're doing though, because you can't put this in here and call it yours. That's really stupid. But anywho, I'd say what's actually special is that, hey, I actually structured my own thing. I made my own pie project.toml. I did a lot of these things. Now, I probably don't remember half of this stuff because I was really locked in with Python at one point, but Go has been blowing me out the water. But I learned that there's tools to build stuff, the license, keywords, the dependencies. These are really what companies look for. In my category right here, I made this myself. I actually used a PyQt and made my own buttons for an interface. Of course, let them a little bit of Claude to style it for me because I didn't feel like doing that shit. CSS is the most painful language on earth. It's not even a language, it's markup. But whatever. That actually might have been a really bad take, I'm not gonna lie. I don't want to end up on stupid tech takes for that. I just know CSS does not feel like a fucking language. Okay, so shut up. But we go through. Wow. I don't see any DSA in here, to be honest. I say the most DSA feeling I've ever had was just making an event system. And at the end of the day, like you end up just making software. And if DSA comes along, maybe with like a decision tree, then sure. I ran into a senior developer buddy of mine and we were talking and we're like, hey, what about DSA? And we actually had a full conversation about this. He said, practice DSA for the sake of it. You'll start seeing maps, graphs, trees more often than not. Linked lists and other memory management techniques are important for C++ too. This could sound like pretty generic advice to most of you out there. But honestly, when you start to think way too much, it's nice to just have refreshing, calm knowledge again. He said, have a look around if you can find a YouTube video of this Russian 6-year-old doing Leetcode hards. He wasn't reading off a script either. He genuinely understood it. But the main thing we kind of got from this is that when you learn DSA, you're better off learning a lower level language because it already kind of intertwines with the computer in a sense because you're getting memory, you're going through the memory, you're doing operations on it, and maybe you're even doing bitwise operations sometime, which is about as directly to memory as it gets because you're shifting bits. But aside from the point, it's been a while since I've interacted with that stuff. I hope you all enjoyed today's video. It was a very nice yap session. Please like and subscribe. Like I said at the start, 10 likes. We've been doing that pretty consistently lately, so I'd like to see it again. But anyway, hope you guys had a wonderful day. Take care.